These are this afternoon's top stories. Murder accused to stand trial. Jamaica water challenges worsen and a new designer drug causes great alarm. Good afternoon. Welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Monday, 13th July 2015. I am Nisha David. In national news, 3 men arrested for the death of George Livingston Queally are expected to stand trial later this year. The accused, Keith Zion Murray, Denroy Bob Simmons, and Nicholas Riley, all of Challengers Village, will stand trial at the September 2015 criminal assizes. The decision was made by the presiding magistrate at the recently concluded preliminary inquiry at the District B Magistrates Court, having been satisfied that there was sufficient evidence to have the case go to trial. Murray, Denroy, Simmons, and Riley were originally arrested and charged in November 2013 in relation to Queally's death at Challengers Village Mountains on January 27, 2011. Projections indicated that over US $25 million was injected in St. Kitts and Nevis' economy when the country hosted the finals of the Caribbean Premier League last year. With the Federation now boasting its own franchise and with the conclusion of 10 CPL matches here, hopes are that local economy has benefited even further. Manager of the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, Richard Berridge, said he's confident having a franchise here significantly boosted the economy.
Definitely. I can tell you from a finance standpoint, in terms of what we have spent to put the event on, that it had an impact on the economy, no doubt about it. Especially during a period which is normally a slow time.
Manager of the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, Richard Berridge. The St. Kitts and Nevis Institute of Architects has this morning launched its official website as one of the events marking its 10th anniversary celebrations. You can now log in to www.skniarchitects.com for such things as the SKNIA Constitution, Registration Act, history of the organization, membership, and a section for forms. Fonsonia O'Gara-Lewis, treasurer of the Institute, said it is important to add a tab that provides links to forms required for planning application.
As part of the website is to also assist persons, first-time homeowners, give them some direction, as you would see in the frequently asked questions section, where we have provided some basic information to give them some guidance. How do you choose an architect? What questions to ask? How you go about getting planning approval, planning permission, any permits required.
The website, in keeping with the Institute's objectives, will advance the act and the profession of architecture. This week, the week of activities continues today with the official opening of a one-day exhibition at the Ocean Terrace Inn. All are encouraged to visit the exhibition, which closes at 5 p.m. this afternoon. Also on the roster is a ZIZ round-the-table discussion on the topic of solutions and possibilities in relation to what can be done to improve public awareness of architecture and the environment, beautiful historic Bastia, the built environment as part of our culture and history. It also includes radio discussions and a community activity where the organization will make a donation of equipment to Solid Waste Management Corporation. This year's celebrations are held under the theme demonstrating our commitment to our profession. Regionally, Jamaica's National Water Commission says it will begin enforcing the nationwide ban on the washing of cars and other non-essential uses of the scarce commodity. The prohibition was announced amid concerns about the worsening drought conditions across the island. The utility company says the police are also on board and warned the public to adhere to the ban. The Commission's Corporate Public Relations Manager, Charles Buchanan, says that the NWC will first seek to encourage voluntary compliance before prosecuting people for violating the prohibition order.
We will first seek to bring it to people's attention that what you are doing is wasteful, what you're doing is not correct and there is a legal prohibition against it, and to invite them to correct the action. In instances where persons, though, refuse to take any steps to curtail their breach, we will apply the full force of the law. The objective is to get people to not waste the limited supplies that we have in these drought-affected areas.
Meanwhile, amid the adverse drought conditions across the island, the government has signed a $4.5 billion contract that will seek to reduce by more than half the amount of water produced by the NWC that is lost to leaks and theft. According to the agency, about 53% of the water it produces daily is lost to theft. In Bahamas, one of the country's gaming houses is maintaining its commitment as a corporate citizen by keeping New Providence clean, green and pristine. Jared Higgs tells us more about the cleanup that brought much-needed life to two communities.
While the country was celebrating national pride this weekend, the communities of Mason's Addition and Engliston were feeling community pride. The community parks in those areas received makeovers thanks to the Island Luck Cares Foundation. The efforts were a part of the foundation's newest initiative called Keep the Bahamas Clean and come under the foundation's environmental mandate. The makeover included park cleanups, a fresh paint job for the park's infrastructure, as well as a special painting provided by the Petit brothers. Representative of the Island Luck Cares Foundation, Shayna Vieira.
We hired local Bahamian artists to come out and help us to pull in the community. They were able to paint the parks. We cleaned up all the side streets around the park as well. So it's not just the park, but the surrounding areas in front of homes and the roadway. And we're happy to launch it during Independence Day, and it's going to be an ongoing thing, annual thing, as well as throughout the year as a PSA to let people know how important it is to really make this country beautiful and keep it beautiful. We have so many visitors that come every year to enjoy the Bahamas, and we want to make sure that we keep it that way for a long time to come.
Frederick Marshall is a resident of Mason's Addition. He says the initiative helped motivate those in the area.
Well, we just doing it because that's what we have to do. If nobody else do it, then it wouldn't be done.
Internationally, medical experts and law enforcement are sounding the alarm about the dangers of a cheap new synthetic drug called Flakka. It can cause psychotic breakdowns and hallucinations when people take it, and it's described as being more powerful than heroin or cocaine. CBS's Mark Albert reports.
These videos show what can happen when Flakka takes over.
I am God! I am God right now! I am life!
Psychotic breakdowns, hallucinations, and indiscriminate violence. Last month, an 82-year-old great-grandmother died weeks after being randomly attacked in her Riviera Beach, Florida home by a man who police say was high on Flakka. This man impaled himself on a fence at the Fort Lauderdale police station while on the drug. Mike Haney, who lives near Chicago, says he doesn't remember what he did for 2 days after unwittingly taking Flakka.
I was completely out of my mind. I could have killed somebody. I could have killed myself.
Flakka, also known as gravel, is a synthetic stimulant, a cousin of the drug found in bath salts. It's an ever-changing mixture of various substances and can come in a capsule or powder. Users can smoke, swallow, or inject the drug. Florida is now the epicenter of the outbreak, with 25 Flakka-related deaths in South Florida's Broward County in the past 10 months alone.
A piano-sized spacecraft named New Horizons will speed past the former 9th planet Pluto on Tuesday. NASA is expecting its first detailed pictures of the icy planet. Meg Oliver has more in this report.
If you think this picture of Pluto snapped Saturday is jaw-dropping, scientists say you haven't seen anything yet. CBS News space consultant Bill Harwood.
And we're not going to see anything like this again, I don't think, in our lives.
NASA's New Horizons spacecraft will zip by Pluto at 7:50 a.m. Eastern Tuesday for the closest pictures to date. The flyby takes place 7,800 miles away from Pluto.
Nobody has any idea what the spacecraft's going to show them. You know, the pictures on the way in have really been exciting.
10, 9.
It's a mission 9.5 years in the making. New Horizons launched in 2006, leaving Earth at 36,000 miles an hour. It has traveled nearly 1 million miles a day for close to a decade.
When it gets to Pluto, to make all the science work, it has to fly through an imaginary box 60 miles by 90 miles on a side, and it has to hit that within 100 seconds. And that's after a trip spanning 3 billion miles in 9.5 years. If that isn't threading a cosmic needle, what is?
In the weather, winds today are easterly at 14 to 21 miles per hour. Seas are moderate with waves of 1.8 meters or 6 feet. In the weather summary, today is expected to be partly cloudy. Temperatures are expected to reach a high of 28 degrees Celsius or 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Sunset for today will be at 6:49 p.m. and the sunrise for tomorrow will be at 5:44 a.m. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nisha David.